The most important part of any race is the start. At circuits where overtaking is rare, this is your opportunity to make up some ground. However, mess it up and you could find yourself at the back with lots of work to do. I'm Haydon from Veloce, and in today's Esports 101, we're going to be giving you 5 top tips to make sure that you go forwards rather than backwards at race starts. Step 1, preparation is key. There is more to starting a race than just putting your foot to the floor, overtaking a few cars and braking later than everyone into turn 1. If you do this, you will probably end up facing the wrong way, without a wing or even a tyre. So, you need to make sure you prepare before every race. The best place to do this is in offline races. Knowing where to brake for turn 1 will differ from a normal hot lap, so it is imperative to take your time to find the optimum braking point. So use these races as your training ground before doing the real thing online. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, as here you can easily reset the race without receiving angry messages from a sweaty league racer. So get in those offline races and make sure your start is perfect. Step 2, know your formation. Preparation before a race doesn't just mean putting in the time in single player mode, as you will also need to know what to do if the race you are in has a formation lap. It's so easy on a formation lap to just do a Kimi Räikkönen. However, weaving is super important. Failing to get your tyres up to the optimal temperature could leave you struggling with traction off the line and lack of grip at turn 1. And believe me, the last thing you want when crowded by other drivers is to have an unstable car. Make sure you are checking the temperature screen on the MFD throughout the lap, trying to get the temperatures as close to 90 degrees as possible. Be aware though, excessive tyre warming could lead to unnecessary wear, which is not ideal. Step 3, look, but don't stare. Okay, so we are on the starting grid and the lights are coming on. So what's next? Engage the clutch and find the optimum revs. For most people, this will be whatever you use to change up a gear. For wheel users, this will be holding in your right paddle, but controller users will have to hold down the A button. To find the optimal rev, steady your foot or finger, depending on if you are on a wheel or controller, so that you have 3 green bars on the throttle application. Any more than this and you're spinning the rears and losing traction, but any less and you'll be bogging down, or worse, going into anti-stall. When you find this sweet spot, hold it there right until the lights go out. You don't get a lot of time to think about this, so practicing your start routine over and over in those offline sessions will help it become almost autonomous. Tip 4, mind the egg. Don't worry, I will explain. The clutch is in, the revs are at optimum, and the lights are coming on. It's lights out, and away we go. But what do we do now? How do we get the best possible start? As soon as the lights go out, release the clutch and gradually put your foot down on the throttle. Do not go full metal straight away, or you'll just get loads of wheel spin and end up facing the wrong way. The best way to do this is to imagine there is an egg under the throttle pedal and you want to just gently squeeze it. Once the car is moving away from the start box, short shifting into second and third is extremely important here. Again, to try and maximize the traction off the line and minimize the risk of losing the back end. Once you feel comfortable in the car, then put your foot to the floor. What if you release the clutch too early though? The best thing to do in this situation is just to drive as normal. Gain as many positions as you can and use the free air to your advantage. Take your drive through at the end of the 3rd lap. Do not try to stop and wait for the lights though, as once you've jumped the start, there is no going back. If you do the opposite and release the clutch at the right time but go into anti-stall, then stay calm, engage the throttle, build the revs again before releasing the clutch, and pray no one drives into the back of you. Step 5, the race is not won at the first corner. No heroics into Saint Devote. It's become a meme lately on the F1 game, but it does have some relevance. Yes, positions are there to be gained at the start, but one small error and you can lose just as many or worse be out of the race entirely. Picking your battles is key here. Knowing which gaps to go for and which to leave will take you from an average Joe to a competitive racer. For example, if everyone is taking the racing line, leaving a big gap on the inside, then it's a perfect opportunity to take a few free positions. But if a free wide moment is forming ahead of you, then it's probably best to leave this one. Backing off into turn 1 will leave you vulnerable to drivers behind, so always be aware of what is behind you and not just in front. You can do this by using your mirrors, proximity arrows, or even looking behind you, in-game obviously. There you have it. Those were our top 5 tips on how to get a banging start on F1 2021. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop it a like. And of course, if you've watched this far, then you should probably subscribe. But I'll see you next time on the next Esports 101. Goodbye.